Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch. Twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. We got a couple things going on this weekend. On Sunday, we're going to be doing a live reaction watch-along thing to Impact Slammiversary. It's their 20-year anniversary show.
Yeah.
So there should be some stuff. Is that where the reverse battle royal is happening?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay, we're going to see that mess. And then on Saturday, we're going to be at Action Coast Wrestling here in Sacramento.
We are.
So it's on, you can get tickets on Eventbrite. If you want to come and hang out, watch the show, say hi to the friendos, come on out and say hi to the friendos. You could do that.
Say hey.
Say hey. Say hey. Hey, I know you. Do the Leo gif there. Anyways, we got a beefy Raw to talk about today. And first, though, of course, yesterday I reported on the arrest of Jeff Hardy on DUI charges. And there's more details now that have come out, including, thanks to TMZ, the entire police video, dash cam video of the actual arrest. So ESPN's Mark Raimondi tweeted this out. Per the Florida Highway Patrol arrest report on Jeff Hardy, a white car was seen swerving and running off the roadway Monday around 12:30 a.m. When the officer made a traffic stop.
Well, hold on. Let's make a comment here. This is during the day. It's per the dash cam video. It's during the daylight hours. This is past 12:30 p.m.
I would think so, yeah. I was going to make that correction a little bit because clearly the video shows that there's a lot of cars on the freeway.
And a lot of sunlight.
A busy time during the day. This is, I don't think this happened in Alaska when at 12:30 sometimes during the year you can be, it's like really bright out there.
Yes.
They have like 2 hours of night or something. Anyways, so yeah, when the officer made a traffic stop and engaged Hardy, the wrestler seemed, quote, to be in a stupor and confused, per the report. Once he left his car, Hardy was unsteady and smelled of alcohol. Officers, through conversation, learned Hardy had been drinking. Hardy could not complete any portion of sobriety exercises successfully or without risk of falling. The officer wrote in the report, officers administered a breath test, and Hardy's first sample read a .294 blood alcohol content. A second sample read .291. The legal limit to drive in Florida is nearly 3 times lower than that. It's a .08. So that's, I'm sorry, almost it's almost quadruple.
4 times.
Yeah, almost 4 times. He was blowing the legal limit.
Yeah. So shortly after news broke of the arrest, advertising for Wednesday's tag team title ladder match between Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, Young Bucks, and the Hardys was pulled, and Dave Meltzer reports that, quote, while AEW has not said anything publicly, as of the time of Meltzer reporting that has since changed, Warner Media was told to stop all promotion to Jeff Hardy in any commercials or anywhere else immediately. They have stopped promoting the three-way ladder match for Wednesday and not sure if they will have a tag team title match with just the 2 teams or not. Another question regarding the main event of Triple Mania on Saturday in Tijuana, which was to be the Hardys versus Dragon Lee and Dralistico. We haven't heard from anyone there regarding how they will handle that. Earlier today, Tuesday, Jeff's brother, Matt, commented, tweeting, quote, it was disheartening to hear the news about my brother yesterday. Recovery isn't a linear process, and I'll continue doing whatever I can to help my brother be healthy. Being healthy and well is the most important thing for Jeff, his wife, his children, and our family at this time. And then shortly before we went live here on the show, Tony Khan issued a statement on Jeff's arrest, which read, quote, we were able to resume contact with Jeff Hardy this afternoon. AEW does not condone Jeff's alleged behavior. We've made it clear to Jeff that we'll assist him in getting treatment for substance abuse issues, which he has indicated that he is open to receiving. In the interim, he is suspended without pay, and he can only return to AEW upon successfully completing treatment and maintaining his sobriety.
I would think we might find out later on today, because I remember the initial report indicated that he'd be going to court to do the initial whatever today. So I'm sure maybe we'll find some more information about that later on in the day. We'll talk about that tomorrow if that is the case, if there's any more information. I mentioned this to you before the stream, man. There's sort of two things in my mind. This is my own take, and I don't have a lot of I don't have really any experience dealing with addiction personally. It doesn't really run in my family or anything like that. I do think it's a disease, and I think that people should get treatment as opposed to incarceration if they have drug or alcohol issues. On the other hand, you got to make some better decisions, because it's not just his own health that's on the line here. When you decide to drive somewhere that that this will present itself as an option, clearly once you've crossed a certain line, you're not going to make good decisions. Getting in a car is obviously one of these bad decisions, but I don't know what has to be done. This guy's got to be off the road, and if I'm not mistaken, he was already on a suspended license or whatever. Like I don't think legally he was allowed to drive.
No, that was one of the charges that was pressed against him yesterday when he was arrested. Was driving with a suspended or
three times in 10 years, I think was the actual charge. And I don't know what to do in that situation. But this was, like you noted, this was daytime. Tons of cars zooming by. How many families are out there? Truck drivers who could get into an accident, and then who knows who? There was a ton of big rigs driving by, and once one of those goes crazy, who knows how many other cars are going to be involved? Somebody's going to get killed. It's not a matter of if at this point, it's when with this guy. And yes, he needs to get help. He needs to get healthy. But on top of that, dude, somebody take his damn cars away. I don't know how that works. I don't know what you can do. But
there is an apparatus, and I don't know, the legalities of it, how effective it is. So I'm just mentioning this because I know about it. I'm not necessarily advocating for it per se, because I don't know enough about it. There is some sort of apparatus where you can install in the car that's a breathalyzer. It's my understanding. And if you blow past a certain point, the car won't start.
Yeah, but this has happened so many times. It seems like he's beyond any sort of
No, but you're just saying, what can you do to prevent him from getting behind the wheel of a car? If that's an option that is proven to be safe and legal, then I guess that could be considered an option.
I agree. I'm not saying it's not even legal for him to have a license, though.
I know.
It's not even legal for him to be in a car.
Okay, Jorge D says that apparatus is very easy to take off, Larson. Thank you. I know of it. I don't know anything else about it.
I mean, there's options. It's I don't know. But while you're sober, can't you make the decision not to get in the damn car? Or I don't know. But it's I'm worried about the people on the road at this point. You know what I mean? We said yesterday there's no excuse to get in the car inebriated. You have so many options to get home or get where you're going safely. Yeah.
There's really no excuse getting behind the wheel of a car under the influence. Yeah. There's no excuse for it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean,
oh wow. GT Racer here says, I don't know where the source is, but says the interlock device was in Jeff's car at the time of the arrest.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's it'd be absolutely tragic if this was the end of him, if he ended up dying because of it. But the amount of tragedy is sort of tenfold if somebody else has to pay the price, is my point.
I know. No, I don't disagree with that. That's
the bottom line. I don't know what beyond that, the details, obviously you can get around any number of things. If you want to get in a car and drive, you're going to get in a car and drive.
No, I know.
And that needs to stop. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a bummer of a situation, and I'm absolutely 1,000% sympathetic to addiction issues. I absolutely am.
Same.
But it's goddamn, man, get off the roadway.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he finds the help he needs. I'm glad that Tony Khan issued this statement. It seems a pretty firm one, as well it should be.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're gonna say about that. And then I guess we'll talk about that more tomorrow if more stuff happens.
Exactly. Let's talk about Raw, Steve. So it's an interesting episode of Raw when the two weakest segments are the ones that open and close the show. I thought everything else in between, by and large, was relatively entertaining. There were some really good matches. They gave most of the matches time to breathe. Seth Rollins and AJ Styles put on a damn clinic out there.
Oh, they did. How about that Montez Ford Jimmy Uso match?
That was really good too.
It's good stuff.
It's just, I feel like it's an error, kind of regardless of who the guest is, to open an episode of Raw with Miz TV. Because regardless of who the guest is, you're going to get 5 minutes of the Miz talking about himself. And you can see the crowd being hyped for the show. And by the time he was done talking, everybody was doing this. Arms crossed.
Yeah.
No reaction to anything he said.
Yeah.
And then Heyman got him back into it because he's Paul Heyman. He's really good. But I don't know. I don't really feel like you kick off of the show with Miz TV because it kind of sucks the energy out of the room. That's kind of Miz's thing. He's kind of an energy vampire. That's his gimmick.
What a terrible gimmick, but you're spot on. That dude is an energy vampire. God, nobody cares about what he says when he talks. It's funny. I kind of, when you texted me that, I kind of, maybe I just tuned out because I didn't notice it as much as that. But I'm looking at your notes and there's a lot that was said before Heyman says anything.
I know. Cause like it's the thing where he introduces Heyman, and then Heyman does, his own introduction. And then Miz is like, I want to talk about me cashing in Money in the Bank. I did it twice. And look, I've got a huge reality show now that did great numbers. And, he goes through the process of cashing in. And if they do it right and do it successfully, and it happens 85% of the time successfully. And it's like, it's all stuff that we kind of know and doesn't enhance much of anything.
Well, WWE's folly at this point is assuming that new viewers are going to be tuning in and need to be caught up on stuff. This ain't the way to do it. Having Energy Vampire catch you up is not the way to do it.
You know how you do it? How they do the Royal Rumble. They do that video package where they highlight all, the salient statistics that makes you really hype.
Yeah.
Do the same little 3-minute video package for Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bang. You get the gimmick, you get the stats you want to get out there, and you do it in a fast-paced, entertaining style with some B-roll. And you're like, oh wow, this match seems like fun, and wow, it could really alter the fortunes of superstars and the entire course of WWE with one cash. And wow, I'm really excited about this.
Yeah.
Having the Miz talk about Money in the Bank does absolutely nothing to get me excited about Money in the Bank.
No, in fact, it scares me because I can't stand the idea of him having Money in the Bank because last time it sucked. So let's pivot to this. We'll go through some of the negatives before we go through the positives because this was literally on our thumbnail last week, and we had questions, Lars. We had questions about the Judgment Day, and tonight we were promised a new direction for the Judgment Day, a new presentation, a new look.
It's all the same. It's all the same. The only difference is apparently they don't have a leader now. It's like the three of them are on equal
triumvirate.
Footing. Yeah, it's a triad.
It's a triad now. Yeah.
And the name's the same. The look's the same. I think the music was the same. Color palette's the same. It's all purple.
It's worse.
What's changed?
It's worse. It
is worse.
Because at least with Edge, you had the dynamic of what should have been the story over like a period of months. Him being the leader, him saying one thing, but not exercising that philosophy, and his underlings being unhappy with that and eventually turning on him. Instead, we got that in one shot last week. And so now we're just left with three Miller abouters. It's not like Finn's leading this group, or it's not even like Rhea's leading this group. Damien Priest sure shit ain't leading anything. I would never look at him and be like, and listen to his promo and be like, oh, this guy's leading the group. So they don't have a leader. It's just Rhea and Finn, and they're not particularly intimidating. Finn joined this thing, and you think, oh, Prince Devitt, oh, he's going to be a bad guy now. No, they stripped him. They just sort of lobotomized him a little bit. He's still kind of just Finn, main roster Finn, who wants to smile, but he's a bad guy now. It's worse somehow.
It is.
Somehow they made it worse.
They got to come up with a different mission statement other than we're just tired of doing what the WWE Universe wants us to do.
Yeah,
because
Rhea did
I don't
the thing
think
where she called people stupid again, and it's again lowbrow. Yeah,
it is. It's lowbrow, and I don't find it terribly compelling in terms of motivation. I just don't. Mm-hmm. There's nothing interesting going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe that'll change. Maybe now that they're together, they'll develop into something. But I get the feeling that if WWE backstage, if creative wanted a supernatural thing, if that's what they want, it's going to get worse. It's actually going to get worse. It's going to be more unbearable. We're going to be like, oh my God, they're starting off the second hour with a Judgment Day promo. And it's going to be the 3 Colin Robinsons, not just the one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 4 on Raw in total if you include the Miz.
Right. Yeah. Remember when Colin Robinson he had soaked up so much energy.
Yeah.
There's multiple Colin Robinsons.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a great episode.
Man. Before we get into it, let's go ahead and pay some bills, Larson. What do you say?
Yeah. Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp Online Therapy. Steve, life can be overwhelming at times, and it's easy to feel burned out without realizing it. While burnout is often associated with work, any of life's roles can lead to burnout.
True, Larson. So if you're feeling fatigued, irritable, or unmotivated, you could be dealing with burnout. And BetterHelp wants to remind you to prioritize yourself. Talking to someone can help you find out what's causing the stress in your life.
Yeah, I've been there before. I've felt that fatigue, that lack of motivation, that irritability that comes with burnout. And I've gone through the process of trying to find a therapist, so I know how difficult it can be to find the right person to talk to. But BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to.
It's also much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. And right now, Going In Raw listeners can get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/raw. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, First Person. You know what, Steve? I think a lot of us wouldn't mind turning back the clock. For some, it might be for vanity. For others, to relive their glory days. But for me, I just wanted to wake up in the morning and feel rested and energized for the day like I did when I was younger. And now, thanks to First Person, I'm getting some of the best sleep I've had in years, waking up feeling focused and energized.
Yeah, man. After witnessing the deteriorating effects Alzheimer's had on their father and grandfather's cognitive health, brothers Chris and Joe were determined to take their brain health into their own hands. So they created First Person, which uses the brain-boosting medicinal benefits of mushrooms to activate the full potential of human cognition and brain health.
You know me, Steve. I've struggled with getting good sleep for years, but ever since I've been taking First Person's Moonlight supplement, I've been getting some amazing sleep. I've also taken their Sunbeam supplement, which has helped my focus. With First Person, I feel like I'm finally unlocking Larson's full potential.
First Person supplements are made with functional mushrooms that look to stimulate the body's natural production of specific neurotransmitters that trigger activities like energy, mood, and, as you just mentioned, sleep.
So start improving your brain health and cognition with First Person. Get 15% off your first order by going to getfirstperson.com and use code RAW. That's GETFIRSTPERSON.com, code RAW for 15% off your first order. Getfirstperson.com, code RAW.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. All right, so like you said, Raw started with Miz TV. You already brought up what Miz had said about cashing in on contracts and stuff.
On and on.
So Paul Heyman talks about this Friday's SmackDown episode. He says, it annoys me as special counsel, and I went to WWE management to make the stakes even higher. So what are these enhanced stakes? He's interrupted by Riddle.
Did he get some Omaha steaks?
Oh, man, that sounds amazing. He says, well, it sounds decent. He says he could be hearing voices. He says, you could be hearing voices like your best bro, Orton. He said, I could be hearing voices, but I thought I heard them say my name, so I wanted to come to the ring and hear this news first. He wants the scoop. So Miz tells Riddle, he's like, whoa, how dare you interrupt us? We demand respect. Heyman calms him down, says, you've got some set of balls on you. Riddle mentions Mrs. Balls from last week. Says Heyman doesn't say much for talking so much. He says, doesn't actually say much for talking so much. He says, neither you nor Roman have any idea what I'm actually capable of. You guys don't know me that well. He says, the bloodline may have tried to end my career, may have actually ended Randy's career. He says, I don't care what stipulation Roman wants because he's going to have to kill me to stop me from taking that title. So Heyman says, blah, blah, blah. He got a lot of momentum, all in the name of Randy Orton. He says the stipulation is basically when you lose, can't go for the title again. And that's
so long as Roman has the belt. As long as Roman has the
exactly.
belt, Riddle can't challenge for it ever again.
Yeah.
Which,
Riddle's not going to be the guy to take it off a minute. I mean,
exactly.
at least that does check his name off on potential suitors for being the guy to beat Roman. But we kind of figured he wasn't going to be the guy anymore.
Well, yeah. Also, if Roman beats him, then Roman can say, "Well, I beat you already. Next,"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was kind of an underwhelming stipulation, anyways. And then Heyman says, "Oh, let me introduce you to someone." Usos. Usos come down the ring, and then Street Profits come to ringside as well because Montez Ford and Jimmy Uso have a match next. This is one of several matches they gave a lot of time to during the show, and it was great.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely was, man. Montez Ford, you and I have been advocating for a split of the Street Profits. And simply because I think that the Street Profits are holding back Montez Ford and maybe even Dawkins. I don't know. But when I see Montez Ford, I see a guy whose ceiling is much higher than what they've already accomplished in the Street Profits, which is quite a bit. They've been, multiple-time tag champions. Mm-hmm. They're a really fun act. They're over with the crowd. But I don't feel like they're developing all that much. There's been hints of heel turns maybe, which could add something to what they have, but I don't even think a heel turn, like even, they do that, then where do you go from there? They need either a freshening up or, my preference, split. And I think Montez Ford, literally, you can't name anything he doesn't have to be a wildly successful singles guy. But you got to do it sooner than later because, people are getting it. The longer you wait, the more perception, the more it'd be difficult to get rid of the perception that he's just a tag team guy.
Yeah. No, agreed. And anytime and every time Montez has a singles bout, knocks it out of the park.
He does. He really
every time.
Does. Yeah.
This match was a lot of fun. Down towards the finish, Jimmy hits pop-up Samoa drop. Match goes out to the apron. Jimmy's looking for a suplex out there. He already hit one prior. Ford blocks that. Ford ends up getting pushed into the ring post. Jimmy's looking for a splash. Ford moves, so Jimmy jumps right into the post. Ford's looking for a superplex. Jimmy fights him off. Montez hits this awesome Hurricane Rana off the top rope. Looking for a frog splash. Jimmy gets his knees up and then covers Ford to get the win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. After that, we had a Seth Rollins interview, sit-down interview where he talks about the Cody stuff. He says, last week what I said to Cody in the ring, I meant it. It was real and it was honest from the heart. He says, but Cody is a virus that's been plaguing WWE since WrestleMania. He says, sometimes you got to make tough decisions. And when nobody's on your side, you got to take matters into your own hands. He says, Cody was becoming a danger to WWE and a danger to himself, and he had brought up the sledgehammer. Mm-hmm. He says he wanted to compete in Money in the Bank ladder match with a torn pec. He says, no. He says, in my WWE, it's adapt or perish. Has been and always will be. He says, I have no remorse. I take pride in what I did last week. The American Nightmare is over. Monday night, Rollins is back. He says, one of my finest moments is the greatest Money in the Bank cash-in of all time. And I was thinking, why not try to top it? He says, I expect a hell of a fight against AJ tonight, but AJ isn't on my level. He says he misses a killer instinct. And if he stands in my way, he might have to do to AJ exactly what I did to Cody Rhodes. And then AJ runs in, lays out Seth, and says, that's for Cody. Bullet Club for life.
They were never a Bullet Club together, though.
Well, it's like a fraternity, Larson.
Then we got Dana Brooke against Becky Lynch for the 24/7 title. But before the bell even rings, Becky just lays out Dana, ends up sticking her head under the hood of the announce table and then kicks it. calls for a mic. She says, I got a lot of anger and rage right now. This is never about the 24/7 title. You can keep that, Dana. This is about the disrespect that I've been shown week after week after I forged a path of greatness for everybody to follow, but they keep falling to the potholes and they can't get out, but I keep climbing and climbing. And speaking of climbing, she looks at the Money in the Bank contracts. She says, I'm looking at the Money in the Bank contracts, and I was thinking that the last time I was in a Money in the Bank ladder match, I was robbed. I was cheated. But this time, it's different. This is my year. So then she said, but enough about that. She turns her focus back to Dana. She's clearing off the announce table. Asuka comes down to ringside. They brawl. Asuka hits a bunch of strikes in the ring. German suplex. Becky rolls out of the ring, starts walking up the ramp. Alexa Bliss starts her entrance, and she walks past Becky on the ramp, and Becky tells her, you're the one that robbed me last time. It was a ladder match. Later on, they actually showed footage of it when Becky was on the ladder, about to get the briefcase, and Alexa dumped the ladder over.
Yup.
It's good promos, good stuff.
Yeah, no, Becky, I feel like people aren't really giving her enough credit for what she does, because she is so far and away better than anybody else. Her promos are just absolutely fantastic.
Really good. And the crowd was chanting for her last night.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Very loudly.
They really need to have her stop. Like it's not very often she does it, but every once in a while when she gets in the ring, she has one of those long promos. She always tries to run down the crowd like they don't like her. And it's like, that's not the reality. The reality is the crowd. She is at that point where they just love her regardless. She's kind of always been there. This has always been a battle with her as a heel. Yeah. But it's like her work has just gone into overdrive lately, ever since she's had like the futuristic shades and the cool the haircut, all that kind of stuff. Like she has been on such a streak ever since she's hit quote unquote rock bottom of her character work. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah. And it got me thinking, like, we can talk about this a little bit later, but it's where you want. It's honestly where you want every superstar to be. Like, the crowd will appreciate them regardless, you know? And it's like, that's something they're going to need to figure out with Austin Theory at some point. Yeah. Because he ain't there. And I don't know, because they obviously want him to be a big deal. He's going to get through Lashley. He'll get through Cena. But, like, I don't know if anybody's going to, but eventually they're going to want him to turn face. And I don't know if anybody's going to give a shit if when he does turn face, if he keeps the trajectory that he's going now.
No, because I think it's really a shame they didn't see what he was doing in the way and just kind of carry that over, because there was depth to his character in NXT. And I feel like his character on main roster is a little too one note. It's one dimensional.
It is. No, it absolutely
there's not enough depth to it. And so, like Becky, your character has depth. You know, and people get into that. Yeah. And it leads to more interesting stories. When Theory's whole thing is just, I'm going to come out, beat you up, take a selfie. I'm youngest U.S. champ. I'm Vince's protege. Arrogant. But there's not much more to this. You know?
Arrogant heel without a hint of irony. You know, it's like, even when the Way were being sort of bad guys and he was on board with that, it's like there was. I'm not even going to say there was so much going on there. It's just him bouncing off them. It was so entertaining. And it's like, it didn't matter that they were bad guys. They were so charismatic. They were so appealing. You could see the chemistry between them, and people just like that. They buy into that. And him just solo doing the one-dimensional arrogant heel thing, it doesn't work. And the good thing is, we're all kind of waiting for him to break through that, and we know that he can. Like, we know that he can. It's just, is WWE, and this is the thing that gets me about, like, what John Cena said, especially when we watched the thing. It was he was glad to have that failure because it forced him to take some chances. And you and I both talked about, is WWE environment right now, does it allow people to take the chances that Austin Theory might have to take to break through to that level? I don't know.
That's the question that I don't know the answer to at this point. Yeah. I mean, everything seems so micromanaged there these days that it seems,
if you step out of place, you might get
exactly. You're going to get punished for it. Yeah. So if that's the case, and it's kind of, you know, apart from a handful of people who have the latitude to do kind of what they want to a degree. Outside of those few individuals, it seems like if you don't do what, even someone like, I go back to this a lot, Dean Ambrose, world champion. Crowd loved Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
Even when he went to Vince, it's like, no, I can't. This isn't me. This doesn't resonate. And it's not like Vince says, okay, let me hear what you got. He just said to Dean, this is who you are.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about that too is that you see how simple Mox is and how effective he is with the crowd. Like, I'm not the biggest Mox fan in the world, but I absolutely recognize how much he resonates with the crowd. And it's so simple. It's not even that much of a departure. It's Dean Ambrose without the corny bullshit.
Yep.
You know, it's just Dean Ambrose taking up a couple notches of intensity, and it was all there. You can do that instead of the goofy hats and the weird stories and the doctor.
The giant margarita and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
It's weird that they just put all that stuff on him because
although the bit with the Mountie, that was funny.
Yes, it wasn't all bad.
Because whenever that little clip of video pops up on Twitter where he and Daniel Bryan are about to start laughing, gosh, that's funny stuff.
God damn it.
Because he's got good comedic timing.
Oh, he does. No, he absolutely does. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. I took this wildly off.
Next we had tag match. Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan taking on Nikki ASH and Doudrop. Winning team advances to the Money in the Bank ladder match. The winning team was Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan. Fun match.
Was this the first time Nikki wore the black theme? That looked cool.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
It's about time. He turned heel how many months ago?
I know. Then Alexa ends up getting the pin on Nikki. Hits her with the DDT, so her and Liv are going to Money in the Bank.
Yep. To join Lacey Evans. Is she the only other quality? Yep. Okay. After that, we had Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel. Kevin Owens. I feel like this probably should have been the pay-per-view match, to be honest with you, because it was better than the pay-per-view match, even though
maybe they didn't want the ending like this had at the pay-per-view, though. That's
what I'm thinking. Yeah. So they just had him do a rematch here. So Kevin Owens gets pissed off. He's pissed off at commentary most of this time. Commentary says, so he ends up on the outside. Commentary says Ezekiel instead of Elias. Kevin Owens loses shit. He gets on the commentary table, throws an absolute fit, gets counted out. He's obviously pissed off about that. Ezekiel grabs the mic, says, I'm not done with Kevin Owens, not by a long shot. He says, but I want in on that Money in the Bank ladder match. I'm so zeked up. He says, but I've got some breaking news. He says, I reached out to my older brother, Elias. He's so excited about Money in the Bank that he's packing his guitar and he's coming to Raw next week. And he can't wait to remind the entire world. The WWE stands for Walk with Elias. So how are they going to handle this, man?
I don't know. I mean, I imagine first thing that popped in my head is that they'll have some old footage of Elias.
Sure.
Either they could repurpose or something they haven't used. He'll do his concert. And Ezekiel will be in the ring unless they could put some really convincing fake beard on Ezekiel.
Yeah.
To make you think he's Elias and then have Ezekiel, something pre-filmed on the Tron. There's no way they can have him in the ring at the same time unless they have an Elias impersonator.
Well, the fact they build it as an Elias rock concert makes me think it's got to happen either on stage or in the ring. In which case, I don't even know if the beard has to be all that convincing because we all know that it's simply Elias. They're the same person.
And that could be the joke, is that the whole get up for Elias is completely unconvincing, but everybody buys into it. Nonetheless.
Everybody buys into it except for Kevin Owens, and that's what has to be the through line. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if Kevin Owens comes and like rips the fake beard off Elias.
Right. Yeah. You know, Elias going to have any number of reasons why, he had the fake beard, and they're all going to be ridiculous. Yeah. I am thoroughly entertained by this story. I marked out big time when he said Elias is coming back next week. I never thought I'd mark out for an Elias return. So job well done with me anyways, because I really want to know what they're going to do with this.
They've gotten a lot of mileage out of a storyline that in involving other... It's fortuitous that the talents involved have been obviously Elias, but Kevin Owens.
Yeah, sure.
He's done a hell of a job selling this whole storyline.
Yeah.
Most other people opposite Ezekiel / Elias, this thing might have fallen flat.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Kevin Owens has done a hell of a job selling this whole story. And then you get Gable and Otis in there involved, too.
Yeah.
You got a lot of really good personalities involved in this that really put this story over. But yeah, recast, it might not have worked.
I mean, Ryan Rubik's Cube here in chat has an idea that could actually come into play. He says Kevin Owens is so strong he rips off all of Elias's beard in one tug. If Kevin Owens rips his fake beard off and he sells it like he's in dire pain, you just ripped my beard off.
You know what they should really do then is have some. I don't know if there's a contraption you could set up to do this. That when he rips the beard off, like something like blood starts coming off the cheeks.
Yeah, it's something stupid
to really
like
sell
that.
it. Yeah, maybe like squirting, like little pores or squirting blood out, something like that.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be funny.
I hope so. Yeah. After that, we had MVP versus Cedric Alexander. But first, MVP had a promo. He says Cedric's gotten on his last nerve. Cedric doesn't accept rejection very well, so much so that he injected himself in the handicap match at Hell in a Cell. He says Cedric belongs with the bottom feeders, while he and Moss belong up there, pointing to the contract at Money in the Bank. He says all that Moss has to do is step on the first, maybe second rung of the ladder. The briefcase is his, and the contract is theirs. Making it pretty clear that MVP is just using Moss for his own success. He says, but once I dispense with Cedric, then we can focus our attention on the future, and that's the Moss winning Money in the Bank. This match wasn't very long.
Yeah.
Cedric's going for a handspring. Moss kind of steps up as Cedric's approaching the ropes. Cedric puts on the brakes. MVP hits Cedric with the clothesline, elbow drop, and then hits his finisher to get the win.
Yep. After that, Cedric's gear looked great, though. It was new.
Oh, it was amazing. He has great gear. He's had great gear for a long time.
He's always had great gear. He went away from the gold and black stuff, so he's firmly out of his mindset's out of Hurt Business. It looked great. So hopefully they do some cool stuff with him. I get the feeling that they're probably not going to do anything cool with him, but yeah.
Which is unfortunate because Cedric's awesome.
Oh, yeah, he's great. After that, we had a couple of promos from AJ Styles and Seth Rollins hyping up their match. There's nothing really to write home about, but the match was absolutely phenomenal.
So going into this, like the gist of AJ's promo is, well, Seth, you don't think I have the killer instinct? Well, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
And so AJ wrestled with urgency.
Yeah.
From the jump, from the opening bell. It was just fast. This match did not let up for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It started, about 10 before the hour? And maybe it lasted, 10 minutes, quarter after. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal stuff. Really good match.
Yeah.
Finish saw AJ go up to the top rope. Seth leaps up. He's looking for a superplex. AJ escapes that. Seth, though, hits him with the buckle bomb. Looks for a frog splash, misses that. AJ's looking for Styles Clash. Seth escapes. AJ tries it again. And so it reverses to a backdrop. And then Seth just ends up sitting down on AJ for the cover and pins him that way.
Well, Seth had been targeting his knee. So, everything that AJ tried to do, whether it was a Styles Clash, Seth would start punching the knee. It gives out. And even the finish here, that roll through, or the roll up rather, when AJ was out of it, he was kind of blaming as he was selling his knee as if I couldn't kick out because of that. So yeah, just a really well told story. Like you said, didn't let up at all. Just two dudes who know exactly what they're doing and they do it better than anybody else.
Yep. It's really good.
After that, we had Riddle versus Ciampa with Miz on commentary. He was sort of didn't really, I can't stand when they do this shit where for some reason Ciampa is just doing Miz's dirty work, but there's no actual relationship there. It's why would he do that?
No reason why.
There's no, hey, this guy's going to handle my dirty work. He's my new X Factor or something.
Exactly.
It's just Ciampa's
Miz Stan, I guess. This guy is a real psycho killer, so I'm going to, again, using his old gimmick.
I don't like getting dirty, but this guy does. Something like that,
Exactly. Yeah.
But no, Miz just feigns ignorance and is I don't know why he's doing this stuff. He just is doing this.
It's pretty lame.
And here's the thing,
Ciampa is capable of so much more.
I know, and it's not oh, maybe it'll reveal. Maybe you're not looking between lines. No, they're not going to ever reveal that he's in his employ. I don't know why Ciampa would be doing this.
Doesn't make any sense, man.
No, it doesn't. Anyways.
This is a good enough match. This is a fun match. I like when Ciampa is working Riddle's toes.
Yeah, that's always good.
He's grabbing his toes and twisting his toes.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Why doesn't everybody do
does. I mean, every once in a while, someone will stomp on Riddle's feet.
Yeah. Sometimes
makes all the sense in the world.
Everybody should do that.
In the end, though, Ciampa's looking for a fairy tale ending. Riddle blocks that. Ripcord knee, floating bro, RKO for the win.
Yup.
Fun match.
No, it was a good match, of course. After that, we had a Bianca Belair interview. She talks about, being prepared for anything, looking forward to facing Rhea at Money in the Bank. She says she talks about their history, how they were sort of had parallel paths, mutual respect. She said, but ever since Rhea's joined the Judgment Day, she's soulless, and her joining the Judgment Day is all about intimidating people. But at Money in the Bank, she's going to know that she's going to show Rhea that she just doesn't talk the talk, she walks the walk. She's the EST. And she's going to walk out still champion. And then Nerdy, the Judgment Day, all in suits, looking like, somebody on Twitter said like Hot Topic employees. I was trying to think of something else because it didn't really scream Hot Topic. They were too well dressed for Hot Topic. they did look like retail employees though.
Yeah.
I just can't place the spot. Is there some sort of goth version of Ulta perhaps?
Yeah,
makeup place?
I know. Yeah.
Oh man, goth Macy's. I don't know. Anyways, Rhea shows up on the Tron. Says Bianca's all talk. We speak through our actions. Finn speaks up. Says we're tired of playing nice and taking orders. That's why we kicked out Edge. And then Priest says, "Oh yeah, Edge had a right idea when he started the Judgment Day, but his actions contradicted his own mission statement. He sealed his own fate. Now we're all equals." And then Rhea says, Bianca cares. Bianca cares what everybody thinks, and they're all just holding her back. How are they holding her back? She's the champion. She's dominant in every effort of hers.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. So she says if Bianca stops listening to the WWE Universe, she'll have a better chance of retaining. I mean, by this logic, when Rhea loses, shouldn't she see the light and understand that, like, Bianca's way is right? And she should be the one, like, she should leave Judgment Day?
Really, but instead, double down is what's going to happen. She's going to double down on Judgment Day.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Used car sales. Is there a goth used car sales lot that... I don't know. Whatever it is, it's goth. Anyways, yeah, so she says she's gonna walk out Raw Women's Champion. Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. Then we go backstage. Theory's warming up. He has an interview. He's talking about how he's in the zone. His tan is right. He's getting his pump on. He says, I'm on a different level these days. He says he's going to beat Lashley in this pose down. Lashley tried to embarrass him last week, but he is going to prove to Lashley that he's not on my level and not worthy of a U.S. title shot. And he says, in 20 years when they have a celebration for me, it's going to make John Cena's celebration look like nothing.
Oh, boy. We shall see. What did he say? He also said his tan is right, his getting his pump right. Didn't he say his angles are right?
Yeah. Angles are right. That's right.
That's like a bodybuilding thing, right? Like
I would imagine. I'm not familiar with that world enough to know what that means, though.
It did sound very specific. That's pretty great.
It did sound very specific, yes.
After that, we had Chad Gable shoosh versus Mustafa Ali.
Hey, Mustafa Ali has a great shoosh.
Yeah, he's got a good shoosh. Unfortunately,
and he knew it because he made himself laugh.
Unfortunately, he's got a terrible record coming back from his walkout, and that's the thing, man. They just said, "Hey, you got 2.5 years in your contract. We're not letting you go. Come back, eat a bunch of losses, but you'll be on TV and you'll make some money." That was the conversation, wasn't it?
Maybe.
Hey kid, you're probably running out of money, aren't you?
Or maybe it's a situation. Again, speculation. Like,
oh yeah, all this is
hey, we'll freeze your deal while you're not here, so you think you have 2 years left.
Yeah, it could be.
You could have 3 years left or whatever, 4 years left if you don't come back. He's like, fine, I just want to get out of here.
Yeah, bite the bullet. Hey, he's on TV a lot. He's eating a lot of losses, but he's on TV a lot.
He's on TV. At least we get to enjoy him wrestle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, because he is. Yeah, he's phenomenal. Took the L here.
That chaos theory from Chad Gable was amazing.
Yeah, that was really great. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, and I mean there was Otis interference here, so it's not like Mustafa Ali looked terrible.
I mean, they're kind of doing a story with Ali within every feud, every match. He's outnumbered. He's facing incredible odds against them.
You put him and Cedric together as a tag team. Oh,
Cedric wants the best of 7 with them.
do it.
I know.
It. The heart and soul of 205 Live,
Give him
man.
20 minutes on Raw.
Special guest referee, that little guy who used to be the logo for 205. 205
There you go.
guy. Yeah.
Less Miz TV, more Ali versus Cedric.
I know.
Please.
Oh, that'd be great. Be awesome.
Please. Then we had Rey Mysterio versus Veer Mahaan. I was expecting some sort of wonky finish here, but no, Veer just beat Rey Mysterio clean on episode of Raw.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was.
Yeah. I mean, Rey tried his best. You rammed Veer into the post.
Yeah.
And then Veer just gets up and clotheslines Tom and throws him in the timekeeper's area. Rey looks for a crossbody. Veer catches him, hits a backbreaker, cervical clutch. Rey taps.
That backbreaker was gnarly because I'm pretty sure somehow the backbreaker ended up like just
a face breaker.
It was a face breaker. Yeah. I went back and I was like, oh fuck, was that a mistake? Was that a? I don't know. If it was a botch. If it was messy. I don't know what you want to call it. But god damn it, Rey's face just ate knee.
Yeah, even commentary was talking about how Rey's the face took the brunt of that.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Then we had our main event segment. We had this pose down between Theory and Bobby Lashley.
Okay, so look, we talked about this a little bit. I think before even the pre-show.
We did.
There's definitely a lot of negative here because straight up, this is dog shit, right?
This dog shit segment. It was horrible.
There is a positive aspect to this, and that is we wanted them to feature, in the absence of the world title, elevate the U.S. title. Bob Lashley and John Cena do that, and they've recognized, regardless of the creative behind it is dog shit, the U.S. title was in the main event segment. They're treating the title like a main event segment, albeit with the dog shit creative.
I'll toss this counter out there to that because I don't disagree. I mean, it's good to put emphasis on all your championships and make them all seem important and make them seem valuable because then it makes sense while people want them. That being said, it's one thing to put a mid-card title in a position of emphasis, main event segment.
Yeah.
At the same time, and maybe this is WWE, maybe I'm asking for too much.
You probably are, yes.
Where you put the U.S. title in the main event segment. However, if you do a dog shit segment from a creative standpoint, yes, you're placing emphasis on it, but also you're kind of shining a brighter spotlight on the dog shit segment. You know what I mean? Arguably the two most important parts of any wrestling show are the opening segment and the end, your first impression, your last impression. And if you want to send people home with the idea that, yes, the U.S. title is important, you get halfway there by putting the main event, but also when you kind of do a dog shit segment, I kind of feel like, well, they care, they want us to care, but only to a degree. Because if you want us to really care, then give us good creative with an interesting story, and then I'll actually care.
Yeah, but they think this is good creative with interesting story. They think that.
Oh, it's bad. Baby oil to the eyes?
I agree. But I guess my only point here is, and honestly, I'm basically just sort of having the conversation because I agree this wasn't good. Although, god damn it, Bobby Lashley's fucking jacked.
Oh yeah, but you know,
and he looks like he's having fun doing this too.
He
I
is.
appreciate
But you go back to Lashley and Apollo Crews had a pose off.
Yeah,
and that segment was a lot of fun.
Yeah, because Apollo Crews he was more interesting than Theory is.
I know. Like Austin Theory had an opportunity to do something with this. He had the headset mic.
Yeah. And
he could have really went like overboard with the kind of like the personal trainer vibe as he was posing and stuff, and he didn't do it.
Dude, this speaks to what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
When he's been on commentary, it's like he's gun shy. He is not willing to take any risks with his improv, and maybe he's just not good at improv, but we've seen him in the way be, I think, good on the spot doing improv, maybe because he understood that character and what he was supposed to do. Maybe he simply doesn't understand what the hell this is supposed to be.
That could be, but I also wonder, too, if the environment in NXT fosters that kind of creativity, whereas the environment main roster squashes that kind of creativity. He probably has a producer saying, all right, go out there, do this, and this. And it's with the understanding that is if you go out there and you do this, and this, and that's it.
That's a good point. I mean, Pierce is out, but we know, look, man, we know you're not going to get anywhere unless you take a risk. You're the U.S. champion. You are the U.S. champion. You've got John Cena on the agenda. So there's only so much they can do to you at this point. Take a risk. When Pierce says, "Get out of here, you're going to be suspended," or I'm going to disqualify you, is what he said. When he says that, as a performer, improv a little bit. Give him a little, get the last word in, get a little aside in.
Yeah.
And maybe in advance of this segment, find somebody who can give you some pointers on, hey, maybe throw this out there. You know who you should talk to? Kevin Owens. Because if this was Kevin Owens with that little head, because you're absolutely right. If Kevin Owens had that little microphone, oh my God, the level of gold, or a Chad Gable, the gold that would be coming from his mouth.
I know.
It would be priceless.
It really would be. It really would be. And if they do the feud with Cena at SummerSlam, Theory is going to get destroyed. He's going to be eaten
alive. And Cena won't give a shit. He will come in, he will improv him into the ground and walk out and go be Peacemaker and not give a shit.
And he'll lose the match too. And it won't matter because everybody's going to remember when he gave Austin Theory cry face.
Yeah, exactly.
It won't matter. The results of the match won't matter when he goes out and embarrasses Theory segment after segment on the mic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Result of the match doesn't matter at that point.
Lashley didn't need to say anything to embarrass him. He just did the pose off and he was laughing his way through the entire thing. You're right, dude. They gave him a mic, and I guarantee you, here's the thing. This is the thing that we know about Vince McMahon is that, yeah, he's wildly unpredictable. He likes the chaos, right? Because he's fucking weird. But if you take a chance and you knock it out of the park, oh, he'll be your biggest fan. You just have no idea if he's going to appreciate what you do.
Well, that's the thing. You don't know what in his mind is knocking it out of the park. You can do something that you think is great, brilliant, creatively, and everybody around you can think, oh, man, that was really good.
Yeah.
And you go up to Vince, it's like, hey, what'd you think? Oh, that was dog shit, pal. God damn it.
You know what, though? Wouldn't you? You gotta trust your instincts. You cannot rely on them. This is the story time and time again. Every interview we've heard on Oral Sessions, or I guess this is the Sessions now. Talk as Jericho. Every ex-WWE guy. You gotta try, because they're not gonna get you there. You have to put yourself out there. And I understand, as a young guy in a prominent spot who's gonna have that Cena match, you probably just want to do what they say. But man, you got to keep on talking. You got to talk. Kevin Owens does it, and he's brilliant. And I know he's been doing it a lot longer than Austin Theory, and maybe it'll take a lot of time. But if you don't, you're going to be the guy that they're going to give up on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I know it's kind of a catch-22 because Kevin Owens he's been doing that his whole career. And walking into WWE, he knew how to do that, and he would do that.
Yeah.
And so that was part of the package they brought in NXT and brought up to the main roster. But, if you're not used to that, or if that's not part of your arsenal when you get it brought up to main, and you're not kind of given that latitude right away, I can understand, especially in an environment that has a reputation for reprisal if you get out of line or go off script. I can understand, but at first, you're hesitant to go off script, and maybe if you do a little bit, it's just little things.
Sometimes little things is all it takes. Like you said, he had a live mic that entire time. I barely heard anything from him. He was giving Lashley a little bit of shit, but there was nothing that was clever about it. There was nothing that was interesting. There was nothing that showed any dimension. Lashley was having a blast though, and the crowd was actually pretty good last night. The crowd was eating that shit up. Because they're all waiting for so we'll just run down the segment. I mean, it was a pose off. Adam Pearce is in there. He goes over the rules, and he's being pretty strict about it. They each do 3 poses.
I was wondering if they were running short on time, and that's why he was like, come on, Theory, get to it.
Well, that could be because Theory starts laying into Pearce, says, oh, this is my show. This is my pose off. You've already botched it. And Pearce says, get on the podium now or I'm going to DQ him. And part of me wonders, okay, is this Pierce trying to stick to hearing from the back, hey, we're short on time. You need to keep this, you're kind of in control of the segment.
Yeah.
Or is there any chance this is Vince saying, hey, shut him down and see how he responds? And I have no idea. I have no clue.
I don't know.
Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
Probably just a
who
time
knows?
thing. I don't know. Anyways,
That's what I thought.
Pierce tells him get on the podium or I'm going to DQ you. Theory does. He does his poses. Crowd's like kind of meh on it. Although he is impressive. He's a jacked dude.
Yeah, he is jacked.
Lashley then tells Theory, he says, you brought this on yourself. You're going to get dealt. I'm going to beat you tonight in this pose off. Then I'm going to beat you in the ring for the U.S. title. Lashley gets on the podium, does his podium. He's immaculate.
Man.
God damn it.
The vascularity.
Woo. Oh, it's so good.
Striations.
The angles.
Yes. Side chest pose?
Yeah. Oh, man. It's beautiful.
Oof.
It's beautiful.
Oof.
Muscle upon muscle. Pierce then pulls the crowd. Theory's like, hey, shut your mouth. I'm going to pull the crowd. Asks if I won. They say no. Or Lashley, they say affirmative. And then Pierce declares Lashley the winner. Even there was nothing like Theory pulling the crowd. There was nothing. He wasn't even really trying to swing it his way. There just should have been more there. And then Theory says, Lashley, there's one more pose. He squirts baby oil in Lashley's face to blind him, and then he drop kicks him. Theory drop kicks Lashley to the floor. So, yeah.
Baby oil.
Yeah, baby oil. It was a dog shit segment, but I think everything we just discussed, I don't think it had to be. Even the way it was scripted, I don't think it had to be if Austin Theory brought a little bit more, if he brought some improv to it. I thought that any segment can be saved by the talent.
Well, I don't know about any segment.
I mean, yeah. Bobby Lashley's sisters.
Bailey, this is your life.
If the sisters were Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Chad Gable, that could have been saved. Bailey, this is your life. Yeah, sometimes they just write that shit into the ground, don't they?
Yeah. Sometimes there's just bad segments.
I think there was enough that was open for improv here that it could have been. There could have been moments where we're like, oh, this was pretty funny.
Yeah, or if it's just scripted better.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need that good improv. Anyways, let's go ahead and answer some questions.
Let's answer some questions. Yeah,
on the Patreon, patreon.com/Steven Larson. The numbers, the voting is now open for Samoa Joe and the Numbers Don't Lie. It's our Thursday bonus show. Later on today, we've got an episode of Overrun, our bonus going in Raw episode. No say, senor. I'll figure that out while this is exporting, perhaps. Also, if you can't make the show live, we have a question thread on the Patreon. First up, Dwayne Nix asks, with Seth Rollins being the first wrestler to qualify for men's Money in the Bank on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is it Seth actually wins the briefcase? So, Seth talks about wanting to have the greatest cash in history. I think Cody is somehow, some way going to spoil that. So I think part of that story could include perhaps Seth winning Money in the Bank. I wouldn't give him a 1 shot. I wouldn't give him a 1 in terms of power ranking who I think it will be. I think that Cody, Drew, and Orton, given that they all have, Drew and Orton both have matches that are penciled in, I guess, right now, Clash of the Castle and SummerSlam. I think those are probably higher possibilities than Seth.
Yeah, more likely, yeah.
Then I'd put Cody and Seth in there. But as far as whoever the other two are, I don't know who they're going to be. Kevin Owens will probably be one.
Well, I mean, yeah, they'll probably have a qualifying match between Owens and Ezekiel.
In which case Owens is going to win that.
Yeah.
Because they'll want him in Money in the Bank over Ezekiel. And I don't think Kevin Owens is going to win Money in the Bank.
Yeah, probably not. I'd love for it to happen, but I doubt it would. Cornbread Haas here with an interesting question. If Eric Bischoff went back in time and told the young Eric Bischoff the full history of WCW, would WCW have still signed Hogan? I think 1,000% yes.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And I think they would have signed him to that 1998 deal. I don't think Eric Bischoff ever thought Hogan was the problem. I don't even really think Hogan was the problem. I think the problem was they tried to bite off much more. He seemed to really regret signing on to Thunder. Thunder seemed to be a big pain in the ass. And yeah, he just seemed to burn himself out on all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, a lot of signs point to Russo being just an absolutely terrible hire.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I think, I don't know. Me personally, I think that WCW also, I mean, one of the problems with Hogan is that he was a glass ceiling for young talent to come up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, by 99, you should have seen guys like Raven stay in the company, be happy in the company, and elevate to a main event scene. Jericho, you should have made him happy, elevate him to the main event scene, keep Goldberg around.
Build for the future while utilizing the talent you have at present.
You know, Ray, Eddie, Benoit, those guys should never have been so unhappy they left. Benoit was champion when he left,
Yeah.
So, yeah, they should have elevated their Booker T, the young and DDP, the youthful DDP.
Yes. Scott Steiner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really didn't.
Newcomer Scott Steiner.
Newcomer Scott Steiner.
White Brownie, so far looking at the current Women's Money in the Bank lineup, who would you say is a favorite to win it? It's got to be Lacey Evans at this point.
Oh, God.
Between Lacey, Alexa Bliss, and Liv Morgan?
Lacey might be, yeah. Right now, between those three, it's Lacey, yeah. But then I don't know who the other two spots are going to go to, so
yeah,
I don't know. Alex Foster says, since Ollie and Cedric are both going through slumps, would it be a cool idea to have a match or two before deciding to finally become an official tag team? Yeah, sure. Or just feud, be a tag team, whatever. They should be a team. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do something here. It says Kevin Owens should rip off multiple fake beards off of Elias. That's a good idea.
Oh, that'd be good.
Rip off one beard, another beard underneath.
That's
again and again and again and again.
Yeah. Mondo asks, now because of the stipulation for Riddle on the Friday match, do you think that hints at him winning Money in the Bank as a way to get around that? Or would it be more interesting to have Orton win Money in the Bank and set it up so that Riddle has ulterior motives for wanting Randy to cash in? I think the stipulation is just to get Riddle out of the way as a multiple month feud. He's going to lose.
Roman will win with the Usos' help, but since the stipulation's in place,
now that might give Orton some motivation to come back and win Money in the Bank if they beat the shit out of him. If they cheat him out of his title shot and then beat the shit out of him afterwards.
Yeah.
I could see that being the case.
Yep, definitely.
Cameron Bartolazzo says, do you think so? Do we know? So right now, he's talking about he says, Raw was pretty mad last night. He's got an AEW question. Somebody going to replace the Hardys in the ladder match tomorrow. That match has been pulled from their official preview as of yesterday.
Yeah.
So who knows what they'll do in its stead. Obviously, Hardys are not going to factor into any equation for a little while.
No. I mean, outside of Jeff seeking treatment, he's got the legal aspect of things that need to play out before I'd expect him back on TV.
Yeah.
And in the way Tony Khan's statement was phrased, it's not like you get through treatment, you establish sobriety, and then we'll think about bringing you back in, like get through treatment and then some, and then we'll bring you back. That's kind of the gist of how I read it, but I guess, it could be interpreted different ways.
Yeah. Ty Moore asks, who do you think Theory will drop the U.S. title to? Blake Whitehouse thinks it's going to be Bobby because he doesn't feel Theory needs that title when it comes to Cena. I think Cena versus Theory for the U.S. title is a good. I think the U.S. title is necessary, maybe not. But
considering John Cena's history with the U.S. title,
I
can see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the title is. I think the title stays on Theory. I think they're going to try to build him up and see where he goes.
Nikyle asks, which two wrestlers from NXT would you like to see get called up to join the new Judgment Day? Von Wagner. He
Wow,
fits so
that's
perfectly.
Good. That's good, yeah. Von Wagner.
And then Joe Gacy.
God, you just dump all the trash into one freaking crew. I love it. And you just see Rhea and Finn there just like, oh, man, what have we gotten ourselves into? I've made a terrible mistake. Rob Conway, guys, he says, I just saw a video of Kevin Nash with all the pyro behind him. Yeah, I saw that video too. He says, who has your favorite pyro in wrestling history?
Oh, my favorite is the Dudleys, because when we were at SummerSlam 2016 and their pyro went off, yeah, Steve just about pooped his pants.
Oh, he's gonna need some Depends. I love that Pat McAfee. Every episode, even this last one, who was it?
Yep.
He said he had to go through 2 pairs of Depends.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I forget.
Blake Whitehouse, if The Rock is facing Roman at WrestleMania, does that mean he's winning the Rumble?
So he doesn't need to.
Well, I mean, if Roman has both belts,
yeah, I know that is sort of a thing. Like, then
he has to.
He probably has to, right? Because whoever wins the Rumble gets the WrestleMania match.
So long as Roman has both belts, then yeah, Rock has to win the Rumble. He'll come out at 29 or 30, close the line a couple people out, win the Rumble.
I think you're probably, yeah, he has to.
He has to, unless someone else wins the Rumble. Rock comes back, says, I want the match against Roman, and that person puts their Mania spot on the line for some reason. For an opportunity to beat The Rock, but then The Rock wins, he goes to Mania, and whoever won the Rumble gets nothing.
Yeah.
But I don't know why anybody would ever put their Mania main event spot on the line.
What do you do if The Rock says, hey, you got me for one match, that's Mania? What do you do with the Rumble? I mean, you got to tell The Rock, what about the Rumble? Then you got to pose that question to him.
This is what you could do. You have Roman face the Rumble winner night 1.
Mm-hmm.
Winner of that match faces The Rock night 2.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's what you'd have to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a triple threat, but that's not what they want, you know?
No, I don't want that. No, breaking news. No level up review from the Enforcer this week.
All right.
He says 3 matches of nothing. I can't squeeze 3 minutes out of that.
Fair enough.
Don't blame you.
Nope.
Let's see here. Wow. Luis Areza says, how would you turn WWE's current factions not for the better but for the worse? Is he talking about Judgment Day?
Yeah, make them all members of Judgment Day.
Yeah, okay.
Just expand Judgment Day.
Well, I'm gonna read the question like this: how would you make Judgment Day worse?
I mean, you could bring up Von Wagner and Joe Gacy.
I feel like, man. So I feel like that would make them better in terms of the entertainment value and how bad that is.
I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot of entertainment value in anything Joe Gacy's been doing.
How do you make them more insufferable?
You had Von Wagner and Gacy, but everything they're involved in is a 24/7 division. That's it.
Oh, wow. I say you have them feud with The Miz. You just put all that trash in one segment. But you make that segment like 20 minutes every week.
That would be the thing. Is like they get a 30-minute promo every week.
You know, that would cut 20 minutes off watching Raw. I wouldn't watch that.
Yeah.
I would just stop and say, I know it's my job. I don't care. Don't want to do it.
But yeah, in the notes it would say Judgment Day promo. That'd be it.
Yeah. Exactly. I'd draw the line.
Yeah.
Not doing it. We just have the Enforcer review that segment every week.
There we go. Judgment Day. Enforcer's Judgment Day review. not the Terminator movie, obviously.
Right, exactly.
Promo.
Yeah.
There you go, Enforcer. No more level up reviews. You just review Judgment Day pros from here on out.
Exactly. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Tomorrow night, we'll be back with our... Wait, what are we doing tomorrow night?
It's Dynamite.
Tomorrow night is Dynamite.
And then Thursday
and
is
NXT. Thursday, Smash Zone. When are we dropping Count Out? Is that going down? Is that happening?
It'll be tomorrow.
Tomorrow during the day? Okay, we're going to do Count Out for you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Recording it later today, and it'll be up either first thing in the morning or at some point in the morning.
Oh, Enforcer is drawing the line. He says no. He says, fuck that. I'll squeeze 3 minutes out of Level Up then.
You don't have to do either.
It's too late, Enforcer. It's too late. You're in it. All right, everybody. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonator Phil McDonald, here to tell you to go support Going in Raw and Friendo Club at patreon.com/Steven Larson. They got bonus episodes, ad-free audio, a weekly newsletter rounding up the week in wrestling news, and a bunch more. Patreon.com/Steven Larson. Go support or get hit with a stunner.